Sorry about that. Technical difficulties here in the top of the third, but we are back and underway as Dylan Beavers actually just getting to second base after that double off of the right field wall just underneath the scoreboard here at Judy Walden Scarafile Field. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta here for this top of the third action. Cade Halamanu still on the mound as he brings that curveball home at 75 miles an hour. And that is outside for ball one to R.J. Schreck. Schreck 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He went down swinging back in the first. As that one grazes his shoulder, and dead ball is called as he will head down to first.
Was trying to come up high and tight with the fastball, just came too far inside. Luckily, it only clipped Schreck, so he'll be all right, taking his place at first. But now you have runners on first and second, just one out. The Harbor Hawks did turn 2 double plays last night. See if they can get another one here.
With runners on first and second, only one away, the infield flyer rule comes into effect. Halamanu from the stretch, his right arm dangling down. He comes set. First pitch to Brooks Baldwin is fouled off for strike one. 0-1 the count. Baldwin also 0 for 1. He went down swinging as well in the first. One of 2 strikeouts for Halamanu in that first inning of play. The 0-1 from Halamanu. High fastball. Baldwin can't connect with that one as he takes a big swing. Brings it out to 0-2.
Baldwin, another guy with a ton of power, 15 homers, 79 hits, 54 games played at UNC Wilmington. He can really put the ball over the fence. Even down in a count 0-2, he hit .325, so he's a good 2-strike hitter as well.
Baldwin, the senior at UC Wilmington, is that one called strike 3, curveball on the outside corner. Baldwin now 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, one looking and one swinging. And with 2 away, that's going to bring Ben Rice to the plate. And we started out this inning while the broadcast was down. We started out Cole Cummings with a fly ball to center field for out number 1. And then Dylan Beavers and R.J. Schreck with back-to-back reached base back-to-back as Dylan Beavers hit that double, and then R.J. Schreck took that pitch with that grazed off of his arm. The 1-0 pitch on the inside corner for strike 1 brings count even at 1 ball and 1 strike now. Rice 0 for 1 he hit to Harris over at first base, who tossed over to Halamanu. As that ball fouled off, brings the count to 1-2.
Rice was behind in the count in his first at-bat as well, still put it in play. He's a good 2-strike hitter, much like many of the guys in this Cotuit lineup. His power's to right field, but he can put the ball at opposite field as well. If he gets one in that wheelhouse, he can turn.
And that ball misses up high. Evens the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
And Rice will be a senior at Dartmouth in the fall.
And you know, Austin, with these pitches, I have a little bit of a tradition that I usually like to do with 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. A lot of teams, especially down at the high school level, will take their hats down and shake it a little bit of a good luck charm, sort of.
Is that down in Texas they do that?
It is, yes. Do they not do it up here? I'm not sure.
I haven't heard about it up here yet.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of teams 2-2. They just shake it a little bit. Gives good luck to the batters. This one ripped down the first base line for a fair ball. 2 runs will come in as that one is going to be picked up by Rose. And that is a 2-run double for Ben Rice. And the Kettleers now take a 3-0 lead here in the top of the third.
The runners were in motion with it being 3-2, 2 away, so they got a head start, and Schreck was able to get moving on the pitch from first, and he came all the way around, too, with that ball finding its way into the corner. But a great piece of hitting by Ben Rice, attacking that off-speed pitch at the knees and just turning on it down the line to right.
And Zane Harris over at first, already making his white jersey filthy with that diving play. Almost got to it, but just a little bit late diving for that ball. That first pitch to John Rhodes is in for strike one. Rhodes is 1 for 1. He had a single in the second. Already back up for his second plate appearance. The 0-1 pops straight up. That should be an easy play there. And that is going to be Halimanu making the grab for out number 3. And the Kettleers add 2 runs, now leading 3-0 midway through the third. And instead of going to a break, we're actually going to toss it down now. Actually, we are going to go to a break, and we'll be right back. Bottom of the third coming up on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Bottom of the third inning coming up. Harbor Hawks are getting their third plate appearance of the night. Before we get started, I want to give a quick message from Curry College. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, including new majors in sport and recreation management, graphic design, marketing, and computer science. That's all online at www.curry.edu. And up for this bottom of the third inning for the Harbor Hawks, that's going to be Dominique Johnson getting his first plate appearance of the night. Johnson went 0 for 3 in last night's game, where he notched in 3 strikeouts. All swinging, though, so he was aggressive. He just couldn't find that right pitch to make contact with.
Yeah, Johnson played at Oklahoma State University. He'll be transferring, though, in the fall from Oklahoma. He is a big Oklahoma City Thunder fan. He's excited for the upcoming draft lottery, which is this week. His Thunder have 3 first-round picks. They just recently acquired the 16th pick. As Celtics fans know, Kemba Walker going there as well. He's not a big Walker fan, though. We were talking before the game a little bit. Johnson excited, though, about the future for the Thunder.
And you said he's going to be transferring to Kansas State, correct?
I believe so, Kansas State. So he was at Oklahoma State in his home state of Oklahoma, but switching things up for the fall.
Deciding to stay in the Big 12, though, so at least he has that going for him. The 3-1 inside, ball 4. Johnson draws a leadoff walk as we reach the number 9 hitter, Caden Rose. Rose went 0 for 3, also in the 9-hole for that game last night. Ended with 2 strikeouts, and he ended up getting hit by a pitch, and he reached on an error, and so actually 0 for 2, not 0 for 3, as I mentioned.
Yeah, Rose actually was in the collision as he puts one into left.
As he ropes that one into left field for a base hit, the first base hit of the night for the Harbor Hawks. And it's a good one past a diving Cummings. And runners now on first and second for the Harbor Hawks as Mariano Ricciardi will dig back in for his second appearance.
Well, before Rose put that one into left, I was going to mention he was in that collision last night as he was trying to score from second on a ball hit to left field, but the throw took the catcher up the line, and Burns, the catcher for Bourne, collided with Rose, but luckily everyone was okay. That was one of the turning points of the game where the Harbor Hawks stranded a couple in scoring position again.
Yeah, scary play there. Luckily, Burns and Rose were both okay. And that was the closest the Harbor Hawks actually got to scoring a run last night, just a few feet.
Yeah, they had guys in scoring position much of the ninth. They had the bases loaded in the top of the ninth, but they just could not find a way to get those runs home.
The 0-1 comes in from Jacobson, and that is fouled off, bringing the count to 0-2 now. Ricciardi 0 for 1. Got a fly out over to center field. Rhodes ended up making the grab for the first out of the game.
Ricciardi from Massachusetts in the Worcester area. Went to Worcester Academy and a big Red Sox fan as well.
That 0-2 popped up, and that's going to go out of play. Rice thought he might have a chance at it, but he ends up stopping just shy of the warning track as that lands towards the bleachers. Keeps the count at 0-2. Ricciardi, the senior at the University of Dayton, named to the Atlantic 10 All-Championship team this past season. Tied for third in the Atlantic 10 Conference with a .352 batting average. But that average doesn't show it that bad as he goes down swinging for out number 1. And he just got him with that outside fastball. He just couldn't reach it.
It's a good pitch there, trying to get him chasing with no outs, guys on first and second. You don't have to throw something in the zone ahead 0-2, and that's exactly what Jacobson did. He intended to get Ricciardi chasing, and he did just that with the fastball.
Runners on first and second, the most base runners the Harbor Hawks have had at one time in this game so far. As that first pitch to Kyle Ball is fouled off. Ball has one plate appearance, no at-bats so far as he reached on a walk. For those of you that don't know, walks and errors do not register as at-bats, so it won't affect a player's average positively or negatively. 0-1 the count, 1 away. Jacobson from the set comes home. Runners go, and that ball gets away from Rice, and both runners advance. That's going to be Johnson over to third. Rose now at second, and with 2 runners in scoring position, Ball has a chance for a couple of RBIs and to score the first runs of the season for the Harbor Hawks.
If Ball can just put something to the right side there, too, they're not playing in on the grass with just 1 away, so there is a chance for that run to come home. Now the first baseman's going to move in just a bit.
Yeah, we saw a plethora of hits from the Harbor Hawks last night, but they never came at the right times as we left quite a few runners stranded in scoring position. Ball in, the senior from Stetson University. Standing in the right-handed box. He holds his bat straight up before bringing it back. 2-1 the count. The pitch comes in. Misses down low. That gets past Rice, and that is quite a bit of a ways away as that'll score a run for the Harbor Hawks. Dominique Johnson coming in. And the Harbor Hawks have just scored their first run of the season.
Tough pitch to block there. It looked like a slider going across the plate there as Rice tried to slide in front of it, but was just spiked into the dirt and took a really bad hop on him and ended up all the way near the Kettleers visitors' dugout down the first base line.
Yeah, that was about as bad of a bounce as that could have taken off of Rice. He did a good job. He got his body in front of it. He just hit his body at the worst angle possible, and it just sailed down onto the warning track. So now the Hawks starting to chip away at that lead for the Kettleers as they now trail 3-1 here in the bottom of the third inning.
The Kettleers have a left-hander warming up in their bullpen now as well, and it looks like they might be making the move, and they will.
So we're going to have a pitching change here for the Kettleers, and we're going to take a little bit of a break here, as we'll have that pitcher's name for you right after this on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Stay with us. Back at Judy Walden Scarefile Field, pitching change here for the Kettleers, and we're going to be ready here in just a little bit. At the plate, on the mound now for the Kettleers, Sean Rapp, the sophomore from North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And before we get started here for this inning, we're going to toss it down to our sideline reporter, who has a little bit to talk about the Patriot Cup, what started off tonight. Taylor, what do you have for us?
Patriots Cup. Cotuit currently has the cup. Hyannis will look to get that back this year with a pitching change here for the Cats. We'll see what the Hawks can do to score some more runs, get ahead, and hopefully take game one.
All right, thank you, Taylor, and we're just about ready to get back underway. Sean Rapp finishing up and back at the plate for the Harbor Hawks. Kyle Ball with a 3-1 count with one away. Runner on third now, as that is Caden Rose now standing at third base. Dominique Johnson came in just a few moments ago on that pass ball, and the Harbor Hawks have scored their first run of the season, now trailing 3-1 here in the bottom of the third inning. Ball ready for this 3-1 pitch. Infield is in towards the line, towards the grass, that is, as actually Brown standing almost directly in front of second base. Interesting positioning from the second baseman as that drops in for strike two. Brings up a full count for Ball.
Yeah, interesting there. They decided to remove Jacobson mid-at-bat and go lefty-righty with the matchup.
The payoff. A chopper hit towards the third base line, picked up by Cummings. He'll throw to first, and that is in time. Out number two. Meanwhile, Rose comes in from third to score the second run of the inning for the Harbor Hawks, and they're now just one run away from the Kettleers, now down 3-2.
An effective out there by Ball, the RBI ground out. That's what happens when you put the ball in play. Good things happen, and although the Harbor Hawks have just the one hit, 2 runs to show for it. Now we're in a 1-run game.
And Cummings took a look at Rose as he was heading towards home, but he decided to take the sure out at first.
And with that out, that means the line's officially closed on the starter Jacobson from the Kettleers. 2 2/3, 1 hit, 3 walks, 2 earned runs, and 2 strikeouts. So an effective outing.
1-1 now the count to Hardigan. Mitchell Hardigan, 0 for 1. He hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Brown tossing it over to Ritter, who then threw it to first. And that play ended the top of the first inning, or bottom of the first, that is. 1-2 now the count, 2 away. Bases are empty now as both base runners have come in. And that 1-2 pitch, he got him swinging an 80-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch, and that ends the 3rd inning of play. The Harbor Hawks eat away at that lead, now down 1 run. The Kettleers lead 3-2, heading into the 4th on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Top of the 4th coming up here from Judy Walden Scarafile Field. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta. Kettleers start off with a 3-0 lead here before the Harbor Hawks put together a 2-run bottom of the 3rd inning, now trailing only 3-2 heading to the top of the 4th. A new pitcher coming up for the Harbor Hawks. This is Angus McCloskey coming to us from Pace University in Pleasantville, New York. And he's getting ready for his first outing of the season. He's going to be facing Eric Brown for his 2nd appearance. Brown 0 for 1 so far on the night as he chops this one towards 3rd, and that is bobbled a little bit by Mann. He'll throw to 1st, and that play is in time for out number 1.
Great recovery there by Mann. A little bit of a bobble, as you mentioned, Lincoln, but strong enough arm over there to make the throw to make up for it and get the speedy Brown for the first out. I noticed here McCloskey pitches from the stretch at all times.
So McCloskey comes set and now facing Ryan Ritter. Ritter 0 for 1 as well with a ground out so far. That ground out going to 2nd in the top of the 2nd. 0-1 the count, 1 away. That ball misses down low. Now 1-1 pitch outside for ball 1. Ball 2, that is. Now McCloskey Not a whole lot of action this season for Pace University. He only has .1 of an inning under his belt, just 1/3 of an inning.
Ritter's putting up a good fight here with the count 2-2. He's done a nice job of fouling off some tough fastballs.
And as you mentioned, those foul balls, he just fouled off another one, brings the count full.
He's a guy who is on a lot of scouts' radars as well. He was already selected in the 33rd round of the 2019 MLB draft, was Ritter, by the Chicago Cubs. A lot of scouts in attendance behind home plate, I'm sure, with him on their radars.
And that 2-2 pitch falls a little bit up high, brings the count now full, 3-2. Ritter from the University of Kentucky, the junior, as that one drops down low, ball 4. And Ritter reaches first with one away, and that's going to bring Blake Klassen, the top of the lineup for the Kettleers. Klassen 1 for 2, had that leadoff home run back in the top of the first, and then in the second he actually went down swinging. Klassen at 6 foot, 205 pounds, from Eastern Oklahoma State, although he'll be transferring to UC Santa Barbara for the upcoming year. 1-0 the count. McCloskey finds the outside corner. That's going to even the count at 1-1. And I have to say, that outing from Halamanu, he started this game off, not as long as some of his outings for Hawaii, but still I'd say a very good outing there from Halamanu for his first time this season.
I'd say so. I mean, he had a few, weak contact hits, but then he did have the home run allowed, a couple hard hit singles in the first inning. He didn't walk anybody, which is important, right? He had 6 hits allowed, did hit a batter, but overall his control was fine, just left a couple pitches in the zone that were hittable, but when you're not walking guys, that's a good sign.
Yeah, of course, in the first outing of a season, definitely going to be a little bit rusty, especially after not throwing for a couple of weeks. As McCloskey gets Klassen looking on that inside fastball for out number 2. And Klassen now goes down to 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Cole Cummings now stepping up to the plate. Cummings is 1 for 2, had a single in the first, and then a fly out to center field back in the third. Harbrock's looking for that last out here as that one misses up high. Count goes to 1-0. Cummings also from UC Santa Barbara, standing at 6'2", 185 pounds. As he checks his swing there. Umpire says he did not go, and a couple of moans and groans from the crowd here, but I have to say, for the umpires at second base, there's not really a way that he could have known whether he went or not.
Yeah, it's a tough angle with this 3-umpire crew, but nonetheless, he's got to battle back. Now you're in a 2-0 count. They did check with Ryan Damari, the third base umpire, but again, that is a tough angle where he's located.
And that 3-0 pitch misses up high, a 4-pitch walk to Cole Cummings, and that's going to bring runners to first and second for Dylan Beavers now.
Second walk issued in the inning by McCloskey.
Ryan Ritter now at second base, Cole Cummings on first. And Dylan Beavers, who's 2 for 2, a great night with a single and a double so far, steps in for his third appearance. So he takes a healthy hack there at that first pitch. I think I heard a little bit of a tip there, but it was caught by post, and so that brings the count to 0-1 with 2 away. Beavers, the junior from UC Berkeley. Count goes to 0-2 now. McCloskey looking for that last strike here. Runners on first and second, 0-2 the count. That one's lofted into shallow left field. That's going to be bald. That's going to be hard again, actually, making the grab for out number 3. That ends the top of the 4th. The Kettleers go down, and they don't score, and so they still lead 3-2 heading to the bottom half of the 4th inning. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Marcos Pujols ready to start us off here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. The Harbor Hawks down 3-2 against the Cotuit Ketteleers. And Pujols 0 for 1 as he digs into this, his second plate appearance. Back on the mound for the Kettleers. That is Sean Rapp. Rapp, the southpaw from North Carolina, Chapel Hill. He starts us off with an 0-1 count.
Rapp was effective last inning, coming in mid-at-bat to Kyle Ball. Got a ground out and a strikeout, looking to continue that success. And a lot of lefties in this Hyannis lineup. He has one here in Pujols, left-handed hitter on deck as well.
It looked like a changeup there, coming in 81 miles an hour from Rapp. As he comes home with the 0-2, that one's fouled off.
Good job staying alive there by Pujols. This looks like a slider on the outside half of the plate. Tough pitch to hit, especially for a left-hander coming from a left-handed pitcher. Does a nice job of fouling it off, staying alive.
Pitch comes in. That 0-2 pitch hit over towards second. That's going to be picked up by Brown. Throw from his knee, and that is in time. Out number 1. So that's a 4-3 put out. Pujols now down to 0 for 2. And that's going to bring Zane Harris to the plate. Harris reached on a walk in his first appearance, and that was in the bottom of the 2nd. Ended up being stranded on first. As after his walk, the next 2 batters were putouts. Old 1 the count. Rapp from the stretch. Brings it home. Hefty swing there, but he can't connect. 0-2.
Terrific pitch at 79 miles an hour. That slider that he's been throwing, getting Harris out on the front foot, was clearly sitting on the fastball.
Someone in the bullpen now for the Harbor Hawks. We'll get that name here for you just in a bit.
Tried to come back with a fastball at 85, but too far outside in the zone. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another slider through 2 to Pujols and got a ground out on the right side. Harris already whiffed at 1. See if he does come back with another slider.
Tommy McCullum now in the bullpen for the Harbor Hawks as that 1-2 pitch is sent flying out of play as that heads past the bleachers behind the Harbor Hawk dugout. 1-2 is still the count. Rapp delivers. That one misses outside and low. Count even at 2-2. That 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Harris goes down with a strikeout, now at 0 for 1 on the night. And with 2 away, that's going to bring Luke Mann to the plate. Mann 0 for 1 so far. Went down swinging in the second.
That was a slider again there on the strikeout to Harris. I mean, terrific slider by Rapp. He's been really effective since coming into this ball game. Pair of punch-outs so far and 4 in a row retired.
Rapp finds the outside corner for strike 1. Mann, after going 1 for 2 last night in 2 at-bats, looking for that, see if he can match that here, that 1 for 2 outing. Hoping to improve, but at least match it up, yes. 1-1 with 2 away. Rapp comes set, ready for the pitch. Rip down the third base line, first base line, off of the bag, as that's going to be a 2-out base hit for Luke Mann. And Austin, that's definitely something you don't see every day. That ground ball looked like it was going to be foul, but it went off of the first base bag and leaped over Klassen at first base.
Absolutely, but it is a good piece of hitting there by Mann. You know, rolling over on that one. It was on the inside part of the plate and just turning on the fastball. And good things happen when you put the ball in play. We've said it before. We'll say it again. And that was one of the struggles with the Harbor Hawks team in last night's game with 14 punch-outs. They do have 4 strikeouts in this game. Only chasing 1 still, although the hit total for Cotuit was 6 and Hyannis was just 2. Only 1 run difference on the scoreboard.
And it just goes to show you that the number of hits that a team gets does not really explain just how productive that they are. Although hits do help a team, it's not the only way to get on base, as we've seen.
A good plate discipline is important as well. Jacobson, the starter for Cotuit, did walk 3. 2 of those guys came in to score.
And that ball gets past Rice, and that's going to let Mann extend over to second. He gets a pretty big loop around second base. He thought about going to third, but ends up staying at second. And Post now with a 1-1 count. He's 0 for 1. He grounded. Ended up on a fielder's choice that ended the second inning. The 1-1 just a bit outside. Count now at 2-1, 2 away. Post, as we mentioned earlier, ended 1 for 1 last night. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Looking to extend this inning with 2 outs. He sends that one into the Harbor Hawk dugout. Players leaping every which way and ducking out of the way to make sure that they escape the rogue foul ball, as that evens out the count at 2-2.
And they do have the shift on Post here again, as you have the shortstop behind second base. You have the second baseman Brown in shallow right field. Only 1 man on the left side of the Cotuit infield, the third baseman Cummings.
As this one hit over towards short, and that is through for a base hit. Man, going to be waved around third, and that's going to score a run for the Harbor Hawks, and we have a tie game here in the bottom of the fourth. That RBI single for Dylan Post.
Terrific piece of hitting by Post. We just talked about the shift, and he finds the hole between short and third and puts it right there, and a good job of getting on base with the walk and getting the single down the right field line but then moving up on the wild pitch, and a terrific piece of hitting by Post to just put the ball in play and take it opposite field to beat the shift.
And that's just the risk that you always have with the shift. Haven't seen it very much, especially not this season. That was the first noticeable shift that we've seen all game long. As that one fouled off from Dominique Johnson for strike one. And we actually saw a little bit of a minor shift earlier on in the game as Brown ended up near second for one at bat, but that was really the only fielder that's been out of place so far.
Well, they have a shift on here for Johnson as well. As you see, Brown, the second baseman, is really close to second base, so there's a big hole between first and second. So Cotuit with a little bit of advanced scouting on these guys, moving their infield around a bit.
And after we saw Post just beat the shift, it's kind of, you have to wonder if maybe they'll be able to do it again with Johnson.
Yeah, Post has hit both of at bats. He's put the ball to the third base side, a ground out to third, and then the RBI single between short and third. So I don't know if we'll see the shift on Post again.
2 balls, 1 strike to count. Johnson reached on a walk back in the third, one of the 3 runs for the Harbor Hawks. 2-1 pitch, just a little bit outside, brings the count to 3-1.
Good count here for Johnson to do some damage. 3-1, 2 outs. Probably looking at a fastball.
The 3-1 from Rapp. A long drive towards right center field, and it's gone in the trees. Dominique Johnson with a 2-run shot, and the Harbor Hawks take a 5-3 lead here in the bottom of the fourth.
He got the fastball, and Johnson did not miss it, taking it to opposite field in the right center. Terrific piece of hitting there, and that's a big boost for this Harbor Hawk team. A lot more energy coming out of that third base dugout right now.
Like you said, just a beautiful piece of hitting, and that ball, you saw the combination of Rhodes and Cummings just stand and watch it sail as it went plenty far over the fence. And the Harbor Hawks now have their first lead of the 2021 season as Rose takes his first pitch in the ankle, or the shin rather. He'll now reach first after being hit by a pitch.
Yeah, action now starting to ramp up in that Kettleer bullpen as you have 4 straight base runners who have reached safely after Rapp came out of the bullpen and retired the first 4 he faced. So retired 4, and now 4 in a row have reached, and now you have the top of the order back up for Hyannis. A good chance to continue to jump on the reliever.
Now, this has really turned into quite the 2-out rally as this one hit over towards second. That's going to be picked up by Brown. Throw to first is in time, out number 3, but not before the Harbor Hawks score a couple of runs and take the lead off of a solo shot from, or 2-run shot from Dominique Johnson, I should say. And we head now to the 5th inning. The Harbor Hawks up 5-3 on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Back up, top of the 5th inning here in Hyannis, Massachusetts, from Judy Walden Scarifile Field. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta. The Harbor Hawks have taken the lead here after a 3-run bottom of the 4th inning, 2-out rally, really, from the Harbor Hawks. And we have a pitching change now for the team, as this is going to be Tommy McCollum, the senior from Wingate University. So McCollum, the 3rd pitcher for the Harbor Hawks in tonight's game, as he starts this first pitch off to RJ Schreck on strike 1. Now evens the count at 1-1.
Coming out of the bullpen, firing 93 miles an hour.
McCollum with the 1-1. Pitch comes in. He goes with the breaking ball here. Misses up high for ball 2. McCollum in 19.2 innings pitched for Wingate. Ended with a 6.41 ERA. Had 29 strikeouts in those 19.2 innings pitched. And with those 29 strikeouts, gave up 22 walks in that time.
2-2 count. We've seen a lot of fastballs. We'll see if he can break out an off-speed pitch here, get him chasing in the dirt.
And that 2-2 pitch, strike 3, as that is out number 1. Schreck goes down now to 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts.
Great pitch there, just locating at the knees, keeping on the outer half of the plate. Too close to take there as Schreck goes down looking.
That brings Brooks Baldwin up to the plate. Baldwin 0 for 2 along with a pair of strikeouts himself. McCollum comes home, a big swing there from Baldwin. He was swinging for the fences with that pitch, but he couldn't connect. 0-1 the count.
That fastball is really lively. We mentioned 93. This pitch at 92 miles per hour. And McCollum is really leaning on that fastball.
A little bit of feedback there from the PA here as that one fouled off. 0-2 the count. Once again, game 1 of a 6-game Patriot Cup series between the Kettleers and the Harbor Hawks. The Harbor Hawks looking to take a 1-game advantage in that series. Cotuit and Hyannis, the only 2 teams from the same city in the Cape Cod League, both teams from the city of Barnstable.
We'll see these guys a lot more in Lincoln, as you mentioned, and I think some of these Harbor Hawk pitchers are going to get used to this lefty-heavy lineup of Cotuit. Trying to get him looking at the slider. And relying on that fastball has McCollum. He might come back with it here.
2-2 outside. Brings the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It was the fastball, but it was just too far outside to get a called 3rd strike again. But 3-2 now, 1 away. Good chance here for McCollum to show him his best.
I will say, from what we've seen these past couple of games, as McCollum gets Brooks swinging for out number 2, back-to-back strikeouts for the Wingate righty. As that brings Ben Rice to the plate. And Austin, as I was saying, we've seen last night and tonight, you were doing a much better job with pitch predictions than I have been this season.
They're tough. You never know what they're thinking, but you can at least try to make a prediction.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I've been wrong multiple times.
Hey, I've been wrong every time, so.
Our catchers do a great job of covering up their signs. You can't really see them from back here either.
Oh, definitely not. That 1-0 pitch, breaking ball down in the zone for strike 1. Coming in at 76 miles an hour.
Yeah, Ben Rice had that 2 RBI double back in the 3rd inning that originally helped propel Cotuit to a 3-0 lead, but 5 unanswered for Hyannis here, Lincoln. And the Harbor Hawks Went down 3-0 last night. Were able to load the bases, but didn't complete the comeback. And going down 3-0 tonight, coming back and scoring 5 straight right now.
Yeah, you really have to have a good feeling about this team, judging off of just how lively their bats have been in the past couple of innings.
Absolutely. This is a group that doesn't quit. We saw the home run by Dominique Johnson showing some pop, and it's a good sight to see.
2-2, 2 away. McCollum comes home, misses just outside, brings the count full, 3-2.
He's been teasing that outside corner the entire inning. He did get Schreck looking on the called third strike on that fastball in the outer half, then came back to Baldwin swinging. See if he can complete the trifecta.
Payoff, misses high, ball 4. So Rice, the first base runner of the inning for the Kettleers. That's going to bring John Rhodes to the plate. Now, Austin, the Kettleers, a quite unusual team name from Cotuit. Do you have any idea how the Kettleers actually got their name, by any chance? So this happened quite a little while ago, but back in the 1600s, Miles Standish, as you know, who was on the Mayflower, back when the Pilgrims first came to America, Miles Standish actually bought a little bit of land that Cotuit was a part of.
Right.
And the actual price for this land was a kettle and a hoe. He just paid a brass kettle and just a gardening hoe, and that was all he had to pay. So, hence the name the Kettleers.
Oh, there you go. I'm
Just
not sure
because
you can get a piece of land anywhere now for either of those two things.
No, definitely not. No.
Times have changed a bit. 400 years ago.
You know, the Native Americans of the area back in that day, definitely traders mostly, as this one roped down the third base line. That'll drop just towards the line, and that's fair. Play over at third base will not come in time. That throw from Hardigan brought Mann off of third base, and that's going to be a double for John Rhodes.
He tried to bury a fastball in on the hands, but Rhodes was able to just get out in front enough to deposit it down that left field line. Sometimes you do everything right, but the hitter is just one step ahead, and that's the situation there where Rhodes picks up a double, his second hit of the night.
So now the Kettleers have started their own little two-out rally. Two runners in scoring position. A base hit here could tie the game from Eric Brown. Brown 0 for 2, a fly out and a ground out in that order. Fly out in the second, ground out back in the fourth. As he lofts this one towards center field. Looks playable from Johnson. He'll settle under it for out number 3. That ends the top of the 5th inning. Kettleers with a dangerous situation with 2 away, but the Harbor Hawks come out of that inning and lead 5-3 heading to the bottom of the 5th. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Bottom half of the 5th inning coming up here. Judy Walden, Scarafile Field, Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta. And now bottom of the 5th inning, Austin, it's your turn to take over play-by-play, so there you go.
Thank you, Lincoln. Terrific job tonight, and great job last night as well.
Thank you very much.
Halfway through game number 2 of the 40-game season here. As a new pitcher takes the mound here for Cotuit, it's the right-hander Jake Brooks from California. Also from Los Angeles, California, the 6'4", 200-pounder. Getting ready to deal here as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning. The Harbor Hawks lead the Kettleers 5-3 to this point. A well-played game by both teams, which saw Cotuit get out to an early 3-0 lead after the top of the 3rd inning, and Hyannis has battled back thanks to a 2-run home run from Dominique Johnson. And that's how we got to this point, where Hyannis with 5 runs, 4 hits, Cotuit with 3 runs, 7 hits.
Yeah, and Cotuit started off with a lot of momentum in this game, but since that little inning number 3 streak for the Kettleers, the momentum has really all been in the Harbor Hawks' favor, scoring 5 unanswered runs in the next 2 at-bats.
Kyle Ball going to look to continue that momentum here for Hyannis. 0 for 1 to this point with a walk. He did have an RBI ground out in the 3rd inning, which brought the Harbor Hawks within 1 run at the time. Swing and a miss there at the slider in the dirt. Brings the count to 3-2 here. Two as we have a correction on the count here on the scoreboard. The 2-2. Tapped back to the mound. Brooks to his right. The throw onto first is in time for out number 1 as Kyle Ball goes down.
Just good play there from Brooks, and it's more difficult than he made it look, having to come off of the mound and be able to make that grab. And I think, if I saw correctly, he actually ended up he tried to stop it with his glove, but ended up grabbing it with his bare hand and making the throw all in one little motion. Very interesting little play there from the new pitcher.
In steps Mitchell Hardigan for the 3rd time in this one. He's 0 for 2 to this point. Grounded into a double play in the 1st inning. Struck out back in inning number 3. Very talented hitter, ranked 3rd on the Florida Atlantic team in 2021 as he lines that one back into center field for a base hit. Hardigan's aboard with 1 away as Hyannis looks to tack onto this lead, starting off with the base hit.
Just a beautiful piece of hitting. He was right on the money on the timing of that pitch, just roping it right to the right, actually, of second base. And yet another base runner for the Harbor Hawks here.
In steps Marcos Pujols for the 3rd time in this game. Assuming the DH duties today for the Harbor Hawks is Pujols. His favorite player growing up has been David Ortiz, a DH for the Red Sox for years, as most of you may know, as he checks his swing, and they will check with the 3rd base umpire. They won't even need to check, rather, as home plate umpire Ronaldo Cockrum had enough evidence to say that he went around. Pujols from the Dominican Republic, plays his college baseball at Dayton. Bats left-handed, very similar to David Ortiz, a guy who he idoled growing up. Long pause, and time is called by Pujols as Brooks was getting comfortable there on the rubber as he'll step off. Kettleers in their maroon away uniforms with the white pinstripe pants today. You see Jake Brooks, the pitcher, with the knee-high maroon socks to match. Brooks comes set. Modest lead over at first by Hardigan. The pitch is tapped down the first base line. It will get out of play to bring the count to 0-2 to Pujols.
Now, judging by these stats from Pujols this past season, .346 batting average, had 65 hits in only 51 games played. Still awaiting that first hit, but when he does get that first hit, I think that we'll have a little string of hits there from Pujols. Just waiting to get started here.
A lot of power with those 12 home runs last season. 321 to that right field pole to swing, and that one is grounded foul. As we know, Pujols has a lot of power within that left-handed batter's box. If he can turn on a ball, that Eye Health Services sign in right field is where he might put that baseball. You saw him do it in batting practice a few times today. He loves that right field pole area, much like his idol David Ortiz did. in pesky pole in Fenway Park. The 0-2. Outside for a ball, 1-2 the count, 79 miles an hour on that pitch. We see that on the scoreboard out in right center field here at McKeon Park. Lincoln, where do you think Brooks goes here, 1-2?
I'd say fastball outside.
And time is called again. Brooks has been pausing for a long period of time there on the hill.
And we did see that Rice, actually behind the plate, was set up on the outside, so I would have been right about that.
There we go.
So
we'll take it.
Yeah, at least halfway.
They seem to try to keep the ball away from Pujols, as that's been the game plan. We'll see where they go. They do go outside with a fastball, Lincoln. You got it, and that is
finally
out number 2 on the swinging strikeout.
I'm 1 for what? 1 for 10?
More than
predictions right now?
You've got more than 1, I think. Give yourself some credit. And with 2 away, that's going to bring in the first baseman, Zane Harris. Harris 0 for 1. He walked back in the second inning, struck out in inning number 4, just an inning ago, where the Harbor Hawks brought up 7 men to the plate last inning. That 2-out rally netting 3 runs. The pitch, outside, ball 1. That seems to be the game plan here with Brooks on the hill as they look to pitch outside of these left-handed hitters who, for Hyannis, you have, just saw Pujols, you have Harris up now. Another lefty and Luke Mann on deck.
And as we've seen so far this season, you bring anything towards the zone on the inside, and these players with enough power to send that flying over the fence, as we already saw earlier from Dominique Johnson. Took that inside pitch, and actually it was a little bit of an outside pitch, that is, but we've seen multiple home runs, especially in Bourne last night. Inside pitches, the batters just turned on it and sent it over the fence.
Great stop there by Ben Rice as the off-speed pitch was spiked into the dirt just before home plate. Ronaldo Cockrum, the home plate umpire, going to have to get out his trusty dust broom there and sweep off the plate. No action in the Kettleers bullpen, so this is Brooks' inning to work through with 2 away and a runner on first. That's Hardigan over there. He's singled with 1 out in the inning. The 2-1, swing and fouled straight back off the netting just to the left of home plate to even the count at 2-2. That pitch registered at 87 on the gun. Seen a wide range of pitches here from Brooks. An off-speed pitch registering at 78 earlier in the inning, but he's been sitting about 87 to 88. I'm sure the scouts behind home plate have their own radar guns as well. The 2-2 runner goes, swinging, it's popped up. Rice flips his mask. He's heading towards the Harbor Hawk on deck circle, and it's going to just sneak past the netting, and a fan makes a nice catch there. Crowd's enjoying that one. First foul ball catch we've had here at McKeon Park this season. Fans get to keep the foul balls today thanks to Honeydew Donuts. It was announced.
And that is one excited kid that made the grab out there. See the giant smile on his face. See that all the way from up here in the press box.
He'll remember that catch for years to come.
He will. He will.
Have that souvenir with him. The pitch to Harris. Swing and tap foul down the first baseline to hold the count at 2-2.
And the scouts that are in attendance here at McKeon Park, I think they'd be pretty happy with Zane Harris, just how big he is, 6'5", 260 pounds.
Lots of power in that swing. Brooks with another long pause as he gets the sign from his battery mate, Ben Rice. The 2-2 once more. Swing and fouled back again. A good battle brewing here between Harris and Brooks, as with 2 away, Harris not going down easily.
And I think if he would have gotten some solid contact on that, we might not have seen that come down. Just a huge swing. It looked like it could have gone somewhere really nice for Harris.
Wind picking up just a bit as the American flag in right center moves around a bit more. 72 degrees and cloudy here in Hyannis. The 2-2, runner goes, swing and lace down the left field line. It's going to get down for a base hit. On his way to third is Hardigan. The throw from left field gets to third. Harris is held at first, and it's a base hit as Hardigan goes first to third, and the Harbor Hawks have runners on the corners with 2 away.
And I just want to mention the speed there from Hardigan. My goodness, as he sprinted around second base and just really got into third in no time. And now runners on the corners is Zane Harris with a very beautiful hit down the third base line, landing just a couple of feet to the right of that foul line. Very nice piece of hitting.
Luke Mann back up at bat now. 1 for 2, a single and a run scored to this point. First pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. Brooks started off the inning by getting a ground out back to the mound, followed up by a single by Hardigan. Came back to strike out Pujols, and then you just saw the base hit to left field by Zane Harris, which puts runners on the corners. With 2 away, swing and a miss by Mann. May have caught a piece of it, but just behind the fastball at 88 miles per hour.
Mann from the University of Missouri, better known as Mizzou. Born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri.
A little bit of a change of scenery for the summer, as that one is hit well down the right field line, but it's going to hook foul. It may have had the distance, it probably did, but just about 15 yards to the right of the foul pole out there in right field.
See a lot of leaves falling down from that tree. It ended up brushing one of the trees up there, and it brought down a little bit of the green.
1-2 the count. That's a pitch that Brooks is likely not to throw again. Man chokes up on the bat a bit. The 1-2 is swung on, foul tipped, and hung on to Ben Rice to end the inning. The Harbor Hawks strand a pair. The Kettleers coming back up to bat in the top of the 6th here on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Back here for the top of the 6th inning from Judy Walden Scarfile Field here at McKeon Park. Austin DeCouta with Lincoln Revill in the broadcast booth for the rest of this ball game for you. The Harbor Hawks leading the Cotuit Ketteleers 5-3 to this point. First pitch is swung on and fouled back. Ryan Ritter's there from Kentucky leading things off for the Kettleers, and it's Tommy McCollum back on the mound for a second inning of work out of the Harbor Hawk bullpen. An efficient inning last inning there for McCollum. The 0-1 swung on and popped foul again, almost identical swings there by Ritters. Ritter was born in Evergreen Park. As we mentioned earlier, the oldest of 7 children. And he was a number 5 2020 JUCO MLB prospect, according to Perfect Game. That one swung on down the third baseline. It's Mason Greer who recently entered the throw to first in time for out number 1. Mason Greer just came in at third base for Luke Mann. Another defensive change was Adam Hackenberg now doing the catching, replacing Dylan Post.
And Hackenberg behind the plate, sporting the easily recognizable Clemson colors.
Mason Greer,
catcher for the University of Clemson.
I'm sure our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer is happy about that. She also attends Clemson. Bring up the top of the order again as Blake Klassen digs in. He's 1 for 3 to this point. Led off the game with a bang. It was a solo home run. But then followed that up with 2 punch-outs, so 1 for 3 on the ledger. As Tommy McCollum is behind the count 1-0 after the fastball sailed on him. McCollum, the 6'5" right-hander. Lincoln, as you mentioned, from Wingate University. Swing and a miss. Nice fastball again, this time at 91. He came in throwing 93. That velocity still north of 90 miles per hour. Count evens up at 1-1. The 1-1 fouled back towards the on-deck circle of the Kettleers to bring the count 1-2. The Kettleers have the first base dugout here at McKeon Park, and the Harbor Hawks in the home dugout down the third base line. From the stretch, the 1-2. Swinging line back to center field. Johnson on the run to his left near the warning track, and it's off his glove at the wall. That's going to get down for extra bases, and into second is Klassen with a double. It did hit the glove of Johnson, but that's a tough play to make. So we'll see if it's ruled as a hit. It will be ruled as a hit, a double there off the bat of Klassen for his second extra base hit of the night.
And like you said, Austin, that was a very difficult play there. I think Johnson really, he felt the warning track, the little gravel on the warning track, and I think he thought the wall was a little bit closer to him than it was, and so he jumped trying to sort of absorb the impact from the wall, but as you saw, he ended up landing just shy of the wall, actually. So a very difficult play there from the center fielder.
With one away, that brings up Cole Cummings, getting the start today at third base for the Kettleers. 1 for 2, a single and a walk on the line today for Cummings, the pitch. Called strike at the knees to even the count at 1-1. McCollum pitched the fifth inning, struck out 2, allowed a 1 hit, 1 walk. Was able to work through it relatively quickly, so he comes back for a second inning of work. Nobody up in the Harbor Hawk bullpen, so this appears to be McCollum's inning to finish. Runner on second, 1 away, the pitch. Thought about it, but held up in time as tying outside for a ball. 2-1 the count to Cummings.
Cummings hoping to major in sociology at UC Santa Barbara as he plans to become a corporate lawyer.
Impressive.
Big dreams there
Very
from
impressive.
the batter.
At the knees, called strike 2 to even the count at 2-2. Favorite sports team is the San Diego Padres, Lincoln. That's a fun team to watch.
It is. Fernando Tatis Jr. really turning some heads there.
And Fernando Tatis Jr. is a guy who has become the face of baseball in many ways as the 2-2 is swung on and miss for out number 2. And while Mike Trout may still be the best player in the MLB, Tatis just has some excitement about him that makes you want to watch Padres games, coupled with an exciting lineup around him. Slam Diego was birthed last year with the string of grand slams the team hit. And their announcer, Don Orsillo, one of the best in the business, too, which keeps fans tuned in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we've seen Tatis, a couple of viral videos for whenever he hits home runs that are just absolute no-doubters. He likes to stand and admire his hits and then take a slow jogger on the bases. And so a lot of Padres fans the Padres fan base loves him. A lot of players and fans in other teams not very fond of him, but I have to say whether you like him or don't like him, he's a very fun player to watch and a very respectable player at that.
Absolutely, a guy with a lot of talent at such a young age, too. Only his third professional baseball season at the MLB level. Another young stud that's just got called up. Red Sox fans are going to get to know this name. Wander Franco, the top prospect in baseball, will be joining the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow night, Tuesday, for the series against the Red Sox. As a 2-0 is high to Dylan Beavers, the outfielder for the Kettleers.
Now you mentioned that Tatis, a very young player, only 22 years old, and
wow.
it really just sort of woke me up that he's only he's a year older than I am, and he's playing Major League Baseball, one of the best in the business. How insane is that?
It can be a bit depressing too when you put it into perspective, because he's out there, signing a $400 million contract. As the pitch was a ball to Beavers, and we'll have a pinch hitter here for the Kettleers. See who's going to be coming up to bat. It's number 18, Nathan Mortarella, listed as a first baseman on the team's official roster, a left-handed hitter who also throws left-handed. Taking over at DH. He's replacing Shrek, who had a pretty solid day. Hit that 2-run home run. Back in inning number 3, which at the time gave the Kettleers a 3-0 lead. Action now in the bullpen for the Kettleers as a right-hander begins to get loose. And action as well in the Harbor Hawk bullpen as a right-hander gets loose there. McCollum's pitch is spiked in front of home. Fastball in the dirt. Nice block there by Adam Hackenberg, who recently entered the game, and he's going to go have a chat with his pitcher after the 4-pitch walk and now a ball to the pinch hitter.
Now in the bullpen for the Kettleers, I want to say that is TJ Brock. I'm trying to see. No, that is not Brock. But I'm not seeing that number on the roster here, Austin. I think we might have a little mystery pitcher here for the Kettleers.
We'll see who's going to be coming in the game. We should know in just a little bit. The 1-0 from McCollum, swung on and missed. Nice fastball there, registering at 91 on the radar gun. Martorella getting his first at-bat and welcomed into the game with a 90-plus fastball. The pitch working quickly as that one's tapped foul. 1-2 the count, and Martorella, another player down here in the Cape Cod Baseball League who has already been drafted but decided to go play college ball. Martorella was drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 30th round of the 2019 first-year player draft but decided not to sign. Plays at the University of California in college instead, and that one is lofted to left field. Calling forward is Hardigan. He makes the catch to end the inning. So McCollum works out of danger. The Kettleers strand 2. Harbor Hawks still lead 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Welcome back inside Judy Walden Scarefile Field. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill on the call here as the Harbor Hawks still leading the Cotuit Ketteleers 5-3. Hyannis with 5 runs, 6 hits on the ball game. Cotuit with 3 runs but 8 hits. As Adam Hackenberg gets his first at-bat of the season, the catcher from Clemson. Going to be a senior in the fall. First pitch. On the outside corner, called strike to Hackenberg as Brooks is still on the hill for Cotuit as he battled out of the bottom of the 5th, not allowing any runs to cross. Now, Lincoln, do you consider yourself, a senior now or when you get to school in the fall? Because some people, as soon as they finish the junior year, they say, "Oh, I'm a senior now."
I'm a senior now, actually. I've been a senior for
So you've been a senior already?
a couple of semesters, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm almost a super senior, I guess. It's a little confusing because I'm a third-year student.
Right.
But I'm a third semester senior, so it's a little bit
Makes sense.
confusing. So. And then if I remember correctly, you said you were a junior. Is that correct?
That's correct. Heading into my junior year at Dean College. The 0-2 to the Clemson catcher is in the dirt as Ben Rice, the catcher for the Kettleers, tried to stop that slider, and he did at least knock it down. 1-2 to Hackenberg. Adam Hackenberg's brother is Christian Hackenberg, who was actually drafted by the New York Jets in the second round. Spent a couple seasons there in New York, comes from an athletic family as his brother was also a Penn State soccer star drafted in the first round by Orlando City SC. So a very, very athletic family does Hackenberg come from.
Yeah, big list to follow. 2 professional athletes, possibly 3 as he's in the best league in the nation.
One of the returners here on this Hyannis team. The 2-2 in the dirt.
He's one of 2, if I remember correctly. Is that correct? No, one of 3, actually.
One of 3.
Corcoran is also a returner. And then I'm forgetting who the third one was.
We'll have to take a look into the roster a little further as the season moves on. The 3-2 swung on and popped up. Back behind home plate, Rice flips the mask. It goes out of play over towards the Kettleer broadcast team. A couple of kids jumping for that ball.
Now the broadcasters for the Kettleers, as I found out just a little bit before tonight's game, twin brothers. Actually,
right.
Both descendants of the Hall of Fame broadcaster Harry Carey.
Some good experience in that family broadcast because that one hits off the knob of Hackenberg's bat. Would have been ball 4, but we'll have to do it again on 3-2.
And now that Carey family, actually a few broadcasters pretty high up here as the twin brothers here in the Cape Cod League. Harry Carey's nephew, I want to say, is actually the broadcaster for the Rocket City Trash Pandas down in Madison, Alabama.
Oh, I did not know that. Hackenberg fighting here, staying alive as wasting some pitches on Brooks as action in the Kettleers bullpen has ramped up a bit. We got 3 different relievers stretching out there.
I did mention that they had a pitcher last inning that actually didn't show up on the roster, so he's going to be very interesting to see who this is. His jersey listed as 48, but there's no 48 on this Kettleer roster.
Guess time will tell. The 3-2 once more. Fly ball medium deep right center field. Going back on it is the outfield, and it's caught at the warning track. Nice play made by Beavers and Wright for allow at out number 1.
Yeah, for a second there as I saw Rhodes and Cummings both ranging back towards that ball, I thought maybe it had a chance of going out and extending that Harbor Hawks lead. And I think the crowd had similar thinking as I did, as whenever Cummings ended up making that grab, there was a collective awe from the crowd, as just a feeling of disappointment as that first out was recorded.
In steps Dominique Johnson with 1 away. 1 for 1 with that 2-run home run back in the 4th inning, which propelled Hyannis to this 5-3 lead. Also walked back in the 3rd inning and scored as
pizza slices at the concession stand are now $1 pizza slices.
A mound visit taking place here. 1 away, Brooks can't afford to miss to Johnson. He's swinging a hot bat today. Been fighting off a lot of pitches in that walk. He saw 9 pitches back in the 3rd inning in that at-bat.
Yeah, Johnson scored twice and once on his own accord as he ended up with a 2-run monster shot that helped extend that Harbor Hawks lead to 5-3.
Johnson from Edmond, Oklahoma, attended Santa Fe High School. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, transferring from Oklahoma State to Kansas State for baseball. And he's a finance major. His dream job is an investment banker. You saw a lawyer earlier, somebody who wants to be a lawyer. Johnson wants to be an investment banker.
Very interesting. Something you don't hear a lot of from college baseball players. I've seen a couple of pre-med majors as well, which, as you know, a very busy major in and of itself, and to add what some would call a full-time job as a collegiate baseball player, a very busy schedule for those players.
Especially at the Division I level, too. I mean, practices daily weightlifting sessions, workouts, and not to mention classes on a daily basis. Ben Rice has been busy behind the plate today for the Kettleers. Lots of balls in the dirt that he's had to block. Counts 2-1. Brooks steps to the side and deals. In the dirt again, as they're really testing Ben Rice now. 3-1 the count.
And I have to say, that work by Rice definitely, most likely being noticed by those scouts down below us, as that's exactly what they're looking for. Somebody that can really move around and get to those balls that are in the dirt and outside and just keep them from going to the back.
The 3-1. Tap down the third baseline. Tough play here for Cummings. A throw on the run is in time. An athletic, impressive play there by Cummings to retire Dominique Johnson.
Yeah, as you said, just a really athletic play there from Cummings. He ended up coming in, and I actually thought for a second that Johnson might have been able to beat that one out, but he was just a step too late, as Cummings ended up making a very athletic throw on the run to record that second out. And it looks like a pitching change is going to come in here.
A pitching change coming in here for the Kettleers, as with 2 away in the inning, we'll have a right-hander to tell you about. We'll be back in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Fans inside Judy Walden Scarafile Field here at McKeon Park. New pitcher on the hill for the Cotuit Ketteleers. It's Chris Troy from UC Santa Barbara.
Originally from Brentwood, California. He graduated from Heritage High School. And in the season for UC Santa Barbara, it ended with a 1-4 record overall, 1 win, 4 losses, and out of 20 innings pitched, he threw a 4.95 ERA and added 29 strikeouts in that time.
6'4", an imposing figure with a lightning fastball on the mound. 95, that one clocked in on the radar gun. As Caden Rose digs in for the third time. Singled back in the third inning. He's also hit by a pitch in inning number 4. Rose has been hit by a pitch in both of the first 2 ball games here for Hyannis. An early leader for the league lead in hit by pitches.
That's something that you really like to see, not as a batter, but
No.
especially from this point of view, somebody that's just a ball magnet is really helpful for teams.
And he draws the walk. There does Rose, the third time he's reached base safely in this one. That'll turn the lineup card over to the top of the order. Mariano Ricciardi digging in.
Number 16, Mariano Ricciardi.
Ricciardi 0 for 3 to this point. Was 1 for 4 in yesterday's ball game. With 2 away in the inning, Ricciardi's looking to put a ball in play. Rose has good speed over at first base. Was 3 for 4 on stolen bases at Alabama in 2020. Long pause, the 1-0 from Troy outside for a ball.
Troy having a little trouble early in this game finding the strike zone. Only 1 registered strike so far. We just got word he has thrown 6 straight balls.
A little bit of a control issue here. We did see that he's been starting and stopping, warming up a couple times out in the Kettleers bullpen down the right field line. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Got warm, sat down for a while, warmed up again before entering the ball game, but re-warming up, I guess. The 2-1 swung on and missed by Ricciardi to bring the count to 2-2. Ricciardi, the son of J.P. Ricciardi, former Toronto Blue Jays general manager. Back in the early 2000s, his dad, J.P., currently working in the San Francisco Giants front office. Runner goes on 2-2. It's lined back off the netting straight behind home plate, so Rose will have to start again from first.
And Rose got a pretty good jump there. I think he might have been able to beat out the throw, but instead he's got to go right back, getting himself a little bit of a workout there on first base.
They don't want to go down looking with 2 outs in the inning here, does Ricciardi, so going to have to swing if anything's close. Rose gets his lead at first. Long pause from Troy. The pitch swung on and missed at high cheese at 94 miles per hour to end the inning. The Harbor Hawks strand a runner but still hold on to a 5-3 lead here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here for the top of the 7th inning, Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill as the Harbor Hawks look to preserve the 5-3 lead that they currently hold over the Cotuit Ketteleers. New pitcher on the hill here for the Harbor Hawks. It's the right-hander Nolan Crisp from Georgia. Spent 2019 with the Florida Gators before moving on to Georgia, where he spent his 2021 collegiate season. First pitch from Crisp is high for a ball, 91, as he comes out of the bullpen firing it.
We also have a new hitter coming in for the Kettleers. This is 24, Mikey Perez.
Mikey Perez getting his first at-bat in this one, replacing Baldwin, who got the start in left field, who had gone 0 for 3 to this point with 3 punch-outs. Perez looking to have a bit more success. It's Ben Rice on deck. 5-6-7 due up as that one is hit well to left field, but coming in on his heart again, it will drop in for a base hit. Line drive single to lead things off, and the Kettleers are in business with nobody out. Could not ask for a better pinch hit at bat there, Lincoln.
No, definitely not. After Baldwin went with 3 strikeouts, risking the golden sombrero here for the Kettleers. You got to be happy if you're the Kettleers team getting that single in the first pinch hit at bat for Mikey Perez.
On the outside corner, called strike to Ben Rice, the catcher. Been busy behind home plate. I think an off day might be in his future tomorrow. Lots of pitches to block in the dirt today as the 0-1 is fouled back off the pole behind home plate to bring the count to 0-2. Rice on the day. He's been pretty effective. He's 1 for 2 with a 2 RBI double back in inning number 3, which plated the 3-4 combo of Beavers and Shrek in the top of the third. He's also drawn a walk, but was left stranded. And he'll call for time here as Crisp getting the signs here from the Clemson catcher Hackenberg.
Rice, as you mentioned earlier, from Dartmouth, the incoming senior.
Ground ball to second. Ricciardi going to his left. No shot at 2. Throw on to first is a little bit high, but handled by Zane Harris for out number 1.
And that's that 6'5" height from Harris coming into play. That little high toss there from Ricciardi, but still playable out there for Harris.
John Rhodes dings in, the center fielder from Kentucky, wearing number 8, playing the 8 position on the scorebook. Rhodes 2 for 3 on the day, a single and a double. Has not come around to score. His team's left him stranded out there twice. First pitch from Crisp on the outside corner, called strike at 89 miles per hour.
Now Rhodes has been noted as the number 30 college prospect by D1 Baseball and number 32 MLB draft prospect from MLB.com and MLB Pipeline.
A lot of talent here for Rhodes. He's put it on display with a pair of hits today. That one's outside by Crisp. Looks like a slider coming in at 81. Moves the count to 1-1. Crisp worked in relief for Georgia. 22 appearances for his team and went 31-25. They went to the SEC tournament. It was 1-1 on the year with a 3.9 ERA. Pretty solid out of that star-studded Georgia team. 78 there on the changeup, but it missed outside for a ball. 2-1 the count. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. Rose couldn't connect on the, looked like a cutter there maybe, Lincoln. 87 had some movement to it.
It did.
Crisp touched 91 earlier.
Definitely wasn't a two-seamer for sure. It might have been a cutter, but definitely not a two-seamer. Two-seamer would have moved the other way.
A lot of guys have that two-seamer with a good amount of tail on it. I know Jose Alvarado on the Phillies comes to mind. His is pretty nasty. Used to be on the Rays. I mean, to left-handed hitters, it starts right in your wheelhouse at the knees and kind of middle in, but just dips right back towards you, nearly catches you on the kneecap. The 3-2. Popped foul out of play.
Now, one thing I've noticed, I just want to commend Rhodes on his swing. Just an absolutely beautiful swing there. Absolute gem. Something that a lot of batters can only dream of having. Just an absolutely beautiful, superb swing there.
Put up some good at-bats today, looking for one more with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. The pitch from Crisp. Called strike 3. Rhodes started down the first base line, but Ronaldo Cockrum, the home plate umpire, decided it was in the zone, and there's 2 away.
Yeah, a little bit of a premature journey there for Rhodes as he started walking down towards first. He thought that was a little too far outside, but a great job there from Crisp, bringing home the crisp fastball and just touching that outside corner. A beautiful strike. Yeah. That's my main goal for this season, just to try to find as many play on words phrases as I can.
Well, we've got two. I think we had one with Kyle Ball at shortstop yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
Crisp here on the hill. 2 away, runner still on second base, and Perez, he was a pinch hitter who had a single to lead off the inning. As Eric Brown digs in once more. Brown 0 for 3 to this point. He has put the ball in play, all 3 at-bats.
Brown. Sorry, go ahead.
Chris behind in the count 1-0 to Brown. And Lincoln, where does he try to go here? More fastballs?
I'd say go you want your arsenal, definitely, especially for this at-bat with 2 away. You want to try to get more fastballs in there, but you also want to work in some off-speed too. Just keep the batter guessing, really. Most pitchers that you'll see have a throw fastball majority of the time. It's probably about like, I'd say 70-40% ratio between fastball breaking ball. Some maybe a little more, a little less, give or take. But you definitely want to see, mostly you want to see the fastball have more action than the breaking ball for sure.
He went breaking ball there, but it was stopped by Hackenberg. Terrific block there by the Clemson catcher. One of 4 catchers on the roster. We saw Caleb Pendleton get the start yesterday. Dylan Post came in halfway through yesterday's game. Then Dylan Post got the start today, and now Hackenberg in halfway through today's game. So if the pattern continues, Hackenberg gets the start for half of tomorrow's game. But we'll see how it goes.
And Austin, I realized that I just, from what I just said, have you caught on that I'm not really a math person, right?
Are you?
Yeah, no, because I realized that I said that the fastball to off-speed ratio is a 70-40, and that doesn't really add up to 100%.
Well, if you're, out of 110%.
Yeah, out of 110,
break it down that way.
Yeah. If you go 100, as you know, if you go 100%, you're not trying hard enough. You got to go 110.
All right. 110%. 2-2 with 2 away to number 2 at the plate. The pitch. Cannot connect on the off-speed pitch to end the inning. Crisp works himself out of the leadoff base hit to end the inning, and the Harbor Hawks coming up to bat, looking to tack on to a 5-3 lead in just a moment. We have our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, with some more information on Dominique Johnson, who's been one of the best in the game for Hyannis. Taylor, what's going on down on the sidelines?
Thank you, Austin. I wanted to highlight Dominique Johnson, the center fielder from Oklahoma State, who's batting in the 8th spot for us tonight. He had a rough start last night, 3 strikeouts, and was walked. But tonight he started off with a walk, stole a base, scored on a wild pitch, and then his second at-bat, bottom of the 4th, a 2-run homer to give Hyannis the 5-3 lead. He grounded out at first his last at-bat, but I'm so impressed with how he settled in tonight to give Hyannis the lead. We'll see what he does next time up at bat.
Thank you, Taylor, and that's very true. Dominic Johnson, a guy who had a little bit of a rough start last night, as Taylor mentioned, but tonight he's really turned it around, and he's had the 2-run home run, which has been the key to this game, Lincoln, as the Harbor Hawks lead by 2.
Yeah, it has. The bats, as we've noticed, really coming up, and they've been electric both games so far. They've had no problem getting hits. The difference between this game and last night's game has been the timing of those hits and where they're coming up in that game, because the difference between tonight and last night is that the Harbor Hawks, with runners in scoring positions, have found ways to put the ball in play and get those runs home, something that we didn't see in last night's game.
And Troy's still going to be on the hill here for Cotuit as we await the bottom of the 7th inning to commence, or to begin, rather. Some fiesta music playing in the background here.
You always got to love the chicken dance.
That's what it is? I don't recognize the music.
Really?
I don't know. I don't.
It's like the little part, you have the hand motions, right? And then that little part there is where you like spin around with your partner. Yeah, you find somebody in the crowd.
I didn't go to school sing-alongs in elementary. I guess I missed out on that. 2-3-4 due up here for Hyannis as Kyle Ball digs in. First pitch grounded to third, fielded there by third baseman, and in time for out number 1. Nice play by Cummings. He's been very solid over there at third, all game long. Harbor Hawks have tested him plenty of times today, Lincoln.
He has, yes. It's been very good, very clean play over there from Cummings. He's also doing a pretty good job at the plate. He's reached base a couple of times with a single and a walk.
Good all-around performance.
He has, yes.
In steps Mitchell Hardigan with 1 away, the 3-hitter for Hyannis. 1 for 3 on the day with a single. was stranded at third back in the 5th inning. The 1-1 from Troy. Foul tipped, hung on to by the catcher Rice for strike 2, 95 miles an hour, as Troy's really been humming out of the bullpen.
Now, Hardigan, one thing that you've seen quite a bit with all the rosters so far, Hardigan's actually a redshirt sophomore, as he started out as a sophomore in 2020, but after that season ended up being shut down. All NCAA athletes were given the opportunity to redo that season, the 2020 season, and so he ended up redoing that sophomore season, so he just keeps that a year of eligibility with him.
Very unfortunate for a lot of the guys who, missed that 2020 season. Some guys even missed the 2021 season, as did the starting pitcher today for the Kettleers, Jacobson, as Harvard and the Ivy League didn't play. Luckily, they've got some summer ball to look forward to here, as Game 2 of 40 down here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, New England's premier summer league.
And this season really just gives you a really good view as to what life in the minor leagues is like. This season, 40 games in a span of 6 weeks, as you have 6 games a week. And so it's a really, really busy schedule.
And typical off days here for the Hyannis team will be Thursdays, except for July 8th, which we do have a game. That week, Tuesday will be the off day. And a called strike 3. He had worked the count full, but Hardigan goes down looking for out number 2, as that fastball rang up at 96 miles per hour. And wow, Troy's got an effective fastball.
Yeah, he does. And that was just a pretty pitch on the outside corner. And at that point, if you're Hardigan or any batter for that matter, you just can't let those good pitches go to waste. Even if they're just close, you need to be swinging, just trying to make contact. And if it's a little outside of where you want to hit it, just foul it off and wait for another one.
Poulos is a guy who's done that a lot the last 2 games, Lincoln, looking for his first hit of the season.
Yeah, he's made a lot of contact, but it just hasn't been in the right direction so far.
Can hit the ball a mile. We've talked about the 12 home runs that he had at Dayton. A guy from the Dominican who grew up looking up to David Ortiz, as we mentioned during the broadcast, and he has a little bit of a similar leg kick to Ortiz. That one's fouled back off the netting. Bring the count to 1-2. Poulos, a first baseman DH. Got the start at first base last night, moved over to DH for today's game. Not much wind still, as the flag dances around a bit out there in right center field near the scoreboard. Time is called. Another good night for baseball, Lincoln. Perfect weather last night in Bourne. Tonight a little bit cloudy, but only 72 degrees at first pitch, and it's remained about that temperature throughout the game. It's a 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? They'll check down to third, and no swing, says the third base umpire Damari. That brings the count to 2-2. Got a couple groans from the Cotuit side of things out of that one, as Troy really wanted it.
And as you mentioned, the weather here, very nice. It was cloudy to start the game, very overcast day, but since then it has cleared out just a little bit. You can see what's left of the blue sky as the sun has continued to go down. A little bit of sunlight left, but mostly that artificial light coming from the lights around the stadium.
The 3-2 pitch. Can't connect on the off-speed pitch, but it gets by Rice. The throw to first on the drop third strike is into right field, and Poulos is going to reach base on the drop third strike. I mean, Rice had no shot at catching that ball, but good job by Poulos to be aware and get down there to extend the inning.
Yeah, and that was just honestly a very smart play there from Pujols, as he saw that ball went underneath Rice, and so he ended up running, and he actually ran over to the right of the foul line in order to get in the way of the throwing line for Rice.
That'll be an error there on the catcher Rice on the drop third strike in E2. First error of the ball game between the two teams. 3 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for Cotuit. 5 runs, 6 hits for the Harbor Hawks. Poulos gets his lead from first. First pitch there is a ball to Zane Harris, the first baseman for today's ball game. Him and Poulos switched. Wearing number 33, batting from the left side. 1 for 2 today, a walk and a single. A strikeout sandwiched in between the two as Troy can't get the fastball to locate. His velocity's dropped down to 92 on that one. Been trying to attack that outside corner, but he's just not getting the call there from the home plate umpire, Ronaldo Cockrum. So Troy seems a little bit upset on the mound. And he can't get the outside fastball to get in the zone.
And he's understandably definitely frustrated if he's looking for that outside corner. He's just not finding the right spot. And it's a very fine line that you have to find. And he's just having a little trouble finding it.
3-0 now as no action in the Kettleers bullpen. Actually, we have a right-hander. There's a glove on and tossing a baseball, but no catcher yet. So we'll see. I guess depending on this at-bat will dictate what the Kettleers do. And a strike fired in at the knees, 3-1. So he goes full count to Pujols, gets a strikeout, but on the E2 on the drop third strike, Pujols reaches base safely. Now 3-1 to Harris. A lot of pitches being thrown in Troy's second inning of work. The pitch. Line drive, base hit down the left field line. Pujols takes a big turn. He's heading for third. Harris on his way to second. And it's a 2-out double as the Harbor Hawks now have runners in scoring position with 2 away.
That was a great piece of hitting there from Harris, being able to take that outside fastball and take it the other way, and that landed just perfectly down the third base line, just a couple of inches from the chalk. Just a great piece of hitting that allowed both him and Pujols to get 2 bases on that run.
In steps Mason Greer for the first time tonight. He came in defensively 2 innings ago for Luke Mann. Greer was 2 for 2 last night in Bourne.
And Greer, if you remember, had that long fly ball. I thought it was out at first, like out of the park, but it ended up landing at the bottom of the fence.
95 on the first pitch fastball. Greer couldn't catch up to it. Greer started yesterday's game. Mann came in halfway through, similar to tonight, how Mann started and Greer came in. Seems like they'll be platooning the 2 at third base as Greer takes a called strike at the knees, 0-2 the count.
Greer coming here from Colleyville, Texas, went to Colleyville Heritage High School.
The 0-2.
Sorry.
Troy walking off the mound in a long pause from the catcher Ben Rice. It's been that outside corner, Lincoln, the whole inning. He's been trying to get the call, but Ronaldo Cockrum is not budging.
And that was a beautiful spot. It's an iffy call just depending on the umpire, really. Some umpires will call that, some won't.
And the swing and a miss to end the inning as Greer goes down swinging. 7th inning stretch coming up. We'll be back at Baseball Network.
Congratulations.
Back here for the top of the 8th inning from McKeon Park. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you as the Harbor Hawks looking to maintain this 5-3 lead. Nolan Crisp back on the mound for his 2nd inning of work. And Nolan Crisp was pretty effective in his first inning.
He was, yes. Just a very great piece of pitching, and Crisp actually with his second No, first, yes. That was Cherry that came and pitched last night. I do apologize for that. But Crisp, in his very first outing of the season, has been doing an exceptional job from the mound so far. We'll see if he can keep up that exceptional job and hopefully finish out this game.
Swing and a miss to start the inning at
Wow.
90-mile-an-hour fastball, and a swinging for the downs there, right off the bench into the game. Number 7, Brett Roberts, the shortstop. Pinch hitting here, and he breaks his bat back out towards the mound. Crisp avoids the shard of wood and throws on to first, so one away as Roberts is going to need a new piece of lumber for his next at-bat. And a 2-pitch out to start the inning for Crisp.
Yeah, you know, that was a painful attempt there, is hitting that wooden bat off the knob. Like, even with an aluminum bat, that can be painful sometimes, and with a wood bat, whew.
The first baseman from Cal Santa Barbara, number 41, Blake
Very
Clausen.
good job from Ball there, being able to get out of the way of that shard, pick up the ball, and get the throw over to first.
In steps Blake Clausen for the 5th time in this ball game. Led off the game with that solo homer, also doubled back in the 6th inning. Makes him 2 for 4 on the day. The 2 outs were both punch-out swingings. 1-1 the count, evens up, called strike at the knees. Nolan Crisp seems to have a good connection with Adam Hackenberg. Working quickly, haven't seen him shake off any signs. The 1-1. On the outside corner, but just too far outside for a ball. 2-1, and they are not going to get that outside strike today.
No, they're not. That umpire, home plate umpire Ronaldo Cockrum, definitely not giving any ground on that outside corner. Definitely calling from black to black on that plate.
Foul tip and held on to by Hackenberg. 2-2, the count evens up once more. Crisp had a pair of punch-outs last inning. Allowed a single. No runs came across. Looking to add to his total, the 2-2. Line drive, one hop, knocked down by Harris. Ricciardi hustling the throw, not in time. Heck of an effort there by Mariano Ricciardi, but just not in time. As it's an infield single, the 3rd hit of the night for Blake Clausen.
And that would have been a very impressive play from the Harbor Hawks had it been on time. And the throw was on time, but sadly Crisp, his foot was not on the plate, on the bag for that play, as you saw him frantically try to get his foot on there in time. Just a great job there from the combo of Harris and Ricciardi. Ricciardi having to scramble to grab that ball, throw it on the run for a very close play, but sadly just a little bit late.
First pitch to Cole Cummings is hit well into the left center field gap. It's going to get down for extra bases. They're waving Clausen home. Now they'll hold him as a strong throw from Hardigan is picked up there by Ricciardi, and all of a sudden the Kettleers have brought the go-ahead run to the plate with 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. First pitch swinging by Cole Cummings, and he laced that ball into the gap, Lincoln.
He did a great hit there, and it was just out of reach from Hardigan and Johnson. Hardigan ended up grabbing that ball, and now you have to start getting a little bit worried if you're the Harbor Hawks with only 1 away, no chance for a double play unless you get an unusual double play, and really just we'll have to see how this inning plays out.
Called strike on the inside corner, 0-1 to Dylan Beavers. Beavers is 2 for 3 today. Single, double, run scored, and a walk. The 0-1. Misses high for a ball, 1-1 the count.
And Beavers, one of his hits was that double that we saw back in the 3rd. He ended up scoring later on. So we know he can hit the ball and get extra bases, and that extra base hit would score 2 runs.
It's off the glove of Hackenberg, and you had Cummins pretty far off second base, but Clausen didn't go. May have had a good shot at scoring there, as that ball got about 20 feet away from Hackenberg down to the 3rd base line.
Yeah, I think if Clausen had chosen to go home, he would have gotten there in time. I don't think the throw could have come in time, as Hackenberg was just getting to the ball. And I think Clausen would have had a good chance at getting home.
Time is asked for and granted there, as Beavers wants to dig in again, get a little more comfortable. Long pause from Nolan Crisp. The 2-1 pitch. Line straight back off the netting. Probably would have been a souvenir for us had the netting not been there.
Yeah, I saw that starting to come right near my eyes, and it was just right on a line for my face, basically. Thank goodness for
flinch.
that netting. Really?
I did flinch a little bit. Counts even at 2-2 to Beavers.
It's understandable that you flinched. I mean, like, you forget the netting's there at times, and you just, like, you try to keep from getting hit, honestly.
Eventually we'll get used to it. Only the first home game here
Yeah,
up in
definitely.
the press box. The count has moved to full at 3-2, and we see Crisp going from the windup with runners on second and third. Some guys are more comfortable in the stretch in the windup. Depends on the situation. The 3-2. Line drive, heads up, right towards the bat boy for the Harbor Hawks. He behind the netting. Let out a little bit of a shriek there.
And you thought you flinched.
Oh, yeah. It was nothing compared to that, but I don't blame him. That ball was
Yeah, it was a lot closer for him.
half a second right towards him.
Yeah. And he's right. He's closer to his netting a lot more than we are. We have about 10, 15 yards between us and the netting here.
He's probably got 2 feet.
Yeah, if that.
The 3-2 popped up. Ricciardi retreating into shallow right field. Called off, and the catch is made. Runner's going to tag, and he's not paying attention. I don't think he realized that there was only one out in the inning. A big mistake by Caden Rose, and that's going to be a sac fly. As Klassen comes in to score, I don't think Caden Rose knew there was only one out.
Yeah, you have to wonder what was going on there, as Rose actually lost the ball there for a second. He held his arms up. I don't think he knew where the ball was for a second, but he ended up coming over and making the grab. And then he took a look over at Johnson over in center field and just wasn't aware of what the situation was. He saw, I think he saw Klassen tag, but he just looked back. I guess he thought there were 2 outs. I'm not really sure what happened. But now the Kettleers are knocking on the door for the Harbor Hawks, only down 1 run here in the 8th.
2 outs, the tying run in scoring position. Nathan Martorella up for the second time. He had come in and pinch hit back in the 6th inning, replacing Schreck, the designated hitter. Pickoff move, no one covering. But Cummings dives back anyway. Outfield playing medium deep depth. Johnson just a few steps to the left of dead center. Creeping in on the pitch, the 0-1. Tapped foul off towards the on-deck circle of the Kettleers down the first base line, 0-2. Crisp looking to work out of early danger. Runners were on second and third. Big 0-2 pitch upcoming. Crisp, a long pause. Takes a look at second. A good lead there by Cummings, but no one covering. The 0-2 high for a ball 1-2. And Cummings might be able to take off there from second base because he's got a pretty sizable lead with nobody covering.
Yeah, he does. And you have to wonder, there's no movement from the middle infield. Nobody's trying to cover Cummings over at second, and that's something you don't really see. I guess with 2 outs, they might be just more focused on if Schreck, or excuse me, that's a Martorella. I guess they're more worried about if he ends up getting a hit here.
Count evens up at 2-2. 5-4 the Harbor Hawk lead after the sac fly RBI from Beavers. 4 runs, 11 hits for Cotuit. 5 runs, 7 hits for Hyannis. The 2-2 with 2 away. Juan to the outside corner, but couldn't get the call, and the count moves to full at 3-2 on the 88-mile-per-hour fastball.
And as we've talked about so much, just trying to find the fine line on that outside corner, and Crisp just couldn't find it there, and now with a very big pitch here.
20-year-old designated hitter looking to tie this game up with a ball in the gap. The 3-2. Ball 4. That one misses outside. And we'll see if Coach Gary Calhoun, the manager for Hyannis, decides to make a move. He is coming out to the mound, and it seems like we're going to have a pitching change. We'll see what the decision is.
And that pitch from Crisp, just definitely something you don't want to see, as he was up 0-2 in the count and then ended up throwing 4 straight balls and ended up giving up a walk.
And we will have a pitching change, so Nolan Crisp's day is done. A new pitcher coming on for the Harbor Hawks. We'll tell you about him in just a moment. Stay tuned here on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Welcome back inside Judy Walden Scarefile Field here at McKeon Park. Austin, DeCouta, Lincoln, Revill here, and things have tightened up a bit as the Cotuit Ketteleers are within a run. Runners on first and second as a new pitcher has taken the rubber here for the Harbor Hawks. It's Trey Braithwaite, pitcher from right-hander from United States Naval Academy. 23-year-old righty, standing at 6'3". Got a good fastball. We'll see if he displays it here. The first pitch is a fastball at 92, and it's fouled back.
Good speed there.
Remember, fans, thanks to Honeydew Donuts, you can keep that foul ball for nice.
Mikey Perez at the plate.
Sorry. I have to say that ever since they made that announcement that if you get a foul ball, you get to keep it, I've seen some kids out from Kettleer fans and Harbor Hawk fans alike sprinting after those foul balls, just trying to get their hands on a little souvenir.
And right out of the bullpen, Braithwaite has done a nice job getting ahead 0-2 to Mikey Perez, who entered the game just 2 innings ago, or 1 inning ago rather, top of the 7th. That pitch is a ball. 1-2 the count. Perez did have a single last inning, but was stranded at second base. 1-2, 2 away. Runners on first and second with the Kettleers trailing by 1. The pitch from Braithwaite fouled back. Off the netting. Count will hold at 1-2, 92 again on the fastball. Pretty lively fastball out of the bullpen. We've seen a couple guys touch 96. Troy for the Kettleers, 95, 96 a couple times. Crisp, 91 for the Harbor Hawks. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, and a big out number 3 to get out of the jam. Terrific job by Braithwaite. The Harbor Hawks are still up 1 as the Kettleers strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Hyannis coming up to bat on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Back here for the bottom of the 8th inning, Harbor Hawks looking to add a little insurance, only up 1 here on the Kettleers. 7, 8, 9 due up. Hackenberg, Johnson, and Rose. Austin, DeCouta, and Lincoln Revill back with you. Lincoln, an exciting ball game. Back and forth action early on with Cotuit jumping out to an early 3-0 lead. The Harbor Hawks would answer with 5 straight unanswered runs to make it 5-3. And then Cotuit just a moment ago in the top of the 8th, adding a run on a sac fly off the bat of Dylan Beavers to make it 5-4.
Yeah, that top of the 8th inning was a little bit nerve-wracking there as they scored another run, almost tied the game. And my heart rate has lowered now, but I feel like at the top of the 9th is going to raise again as Harbor Hawks are looking for their first win. They almost have it, but they got to shut down the Kettleers in that 9th inning first.
And that one sails on Troy, and Hackenberg ducked out of the way, 94. Ball 2. I'm sure the Harbor Hawks would love to add an insurance run here before heading to the 9th. Kettleers are a very scrappy team. They don't quit, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've seen just how fast the Kettleers can gain one run, as we saw Blake Klassen, the very first batter of the game, his second pitch in, and took it yard deep in right field for a solo shot.
2-1 to Hackenberg. The Clemson catcher, the pitch. And a curveball slips out of the hand just a little bit early, 72, and Hackenberg's getting used to having a duck out of the way.
Yeah, it definitely helps you work on your reflexes.
Absolutely.
Especially with that fastball near the head.
3-1 the count here as Troy's into his third inning of work out of the bullpen. Can't connect on the fastball, just a tick behind. 94 up in the zone as a right-hander begins to loosen up in the Cotuit bullpen. No action in the Hyannis bullpen as it seems it's going to be Braithwaite's inning to finish, or inning to complete rather. This is the 9th as he came on for 1 out in the 8th. The 3-2. Hackenberg lays off and it's ball 4. So the leadoff walk to the catcher, which brings up Dominique Johnson, Lincoln, a guy that Taylor, our sideline reporter, told us about, and a guy who we've been used to talking about today as he's been very effective in this ball game. And it seems like we're going to have another pitching change here as the leadoff walk will end the day for Troy, who was very effective out of the bullpen, touching 96, really limiting Hyannis and not allowing any runs. So in just a moment, we'll have a new pitcher for the Kettleers. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Welcome back inside this broadcast of Harbor Hawks baseball. At McKeon Park, Austin, DeCouta, Lincoln, Revill here with you for a new pitcher on the mound for the Cotuit Ketteleers. It's the right-handed sidearmer, Lincoln, Alaska Abney. A unique delivery here for the junior from Coastal Carolina University.
Yeah, and we were talking just before this, actually, just how beautiful that Alaska's form is. And I tell you, Austin, I always appreciate a good sidearm pitcher. It's just a beautiful form, an art in and of itself, really. You have to be a really good pitcher in order to have a good sidearm delivery, and so this is just a really impressive delivery here from Alaska, and a very nice last name, I might add, as well. Just we were talking before the game at what a unique name and really a pretty cool name that Alaska is. Abney, Alaska. It really rolls off the tongue. Or Alaska Abney, I should say.
With Dominique Johnson standing in, he'll take his first cuts against Abney. And Abney's had success with the strikeout. 22 strikeouts and 19 in the third innings pitched in 2020 as a sophomore. Season ended early due to the COVID pandemic, as do all the 2020 seasons around baseball. We'll try not to mention that every time we talk about the 2020 season, but it's kind of hard not to talk about.
Yeah, it's taken such a toll on the whole COVID pandemic, taking such a toll on the country. It's really hard not to bring it up. We're very thankful. There was we had to hold off the season a little bit due to a little COVID outbreak that happened up here a little while back. But we're very thankful that we were still able to have this league this summer.
The 0-2 from Abney. Johnson grounds it slowly to first. They're going to try to get the out at 2, and it's in the dirt and not in time. So a curious decision there by Klassen, the first baseman, to try to take the out at second, and it does not pay off. With nobody out here, Lincoln, the insurance run is not far away with runners on first and second.
Yeah, and at this point, you really have to wonder what caused Brown to just want to throw it to, or what caused, that was Klassen. You have to wonder why he threw it to second instead of getting that sure out at first. You know, at that point, I feel like it's really just more of getting the sure out, especially this late in the game, instead of now you have 2 runners on base instead of just that 1 runner on second. You have 2 runners on base and no outs.
That'll go down as a fielder's choice as everyone advances to the next base. Not a hit in the scorebook. I've got the official score down the end of our broadcast booth. Goes down as the fielder's choice. Runners on first and second, and one misses outside for a ball from Abney. Firing 87 with that sidewinder delivery. Definitely tough on right-handed hitters. I know guys like Darren O'Day, Steve Chisek from the Marlins. A couple of right-handed pitchers who have a similar delivery. Very tough to hit. Foul tipped off Ben Rice behind the plate as Caden Rose stays alive.
You really know that for these Harbor Hawk batters, this is really just a big change of pace from having pitchers that throw over the top to really just a whole different delivery with this sidewinder form.
Rose looking to get on base safely again. He's 1 for 1 with a single, a walk, and hit by pitch. So he's looking to continue that perfect 3 for 3 on base. Long pause from Abney. The delivery and the pitch is fouled up into the netting near the Cotuit sideline. 1-2, the count holds. Top of the order on deck, and Ricciardi still nobody away in the inning. Hyannis clinging on to a 5-4 lead and looking to add to that lead with runners on first and second.
You know, I think that might have been a slider there from Abney. As I saw a little bit of a late break on that pitch, and it really just had Rose kind of confused there as he check swung at it, and I think that the fact that he made contact was more out of luck than it was him trying to just make contact with the ball.
Hackenberg on second, Johnson at first, and Rose at the dish. At least put the ball in play here is what you're thinking if you're manager Gary Calhoun down on the third base coach's box. The 1-2. Lays off, a fastball up in the zone at 86. 2-2, the count evens up. Looking to move the runners here, and as we saw at the last play, good things happen when you put that ball in play. That seems to be the theme of the season.
Exactly, yes. Runs, especially with a runner in scoring position, just get that ball in play, get it out of the infield, and you have a good chance of scoring another run and getting the insurance that you need.
Pop foul once again. The count will hold at 2-2. Long pause from Abney. He looks, the 2-2 pitch. Outside. Count will move to 3-2 now at full. Good at bat brewing here for Caden Rose. Approaching 3 hours here, Lincoln, for game time. The 3-2. Cut on and missed there by Rose, and that's going to be a long out number 1 as Rose put up a good fight.
Yeah, he did. Really just battled there. You could tell he wanted to hit the ball and really extend the runners, but he just couldn't connect with that last pitch.
Mariano Ricciardi in the top of the order due up, but first, fans for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines. Visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. The first pitch to Ricciardi is fouled, tipped, and hung on to by Rice, the catcher, 0-1.
Now, you mentioned that we're approaching 3 hours here, and we're actually about a minute away from that 3-hour mark. And this game already a good bit longer than last night's game. Last night was a real pitcher's duel that really didn't see any runs and didn't see any runs till the 8th inning and only saw a few hits throughout that time.
18 hits between the two teams tonight, 9 runs. Last night we only saw 3 runs come across Lincoln. There were a decent amount of hits in the ball game, just a lot of runners stranded, a couple double plays for both teams.
Yeah, and you never saw more than 1 or 2 hits per inning, whereas here you'll find, if you look back, you'll find 3 plus 4 maybe. 4 hits in an inning, 3 to 4, maybe 5. So
Charlie was just late on that fastball as he hit it to the Harbor Hawk bullpen down the left field line. 1-2 as he's behind in the count. Abney looking to work his way out of danger. Took over for Troy. Ricciardi digs in, runners on first and second still with just 1 away. Long pause from Abney, the 1-2. Cut on and miss. Strike 3, back-to-back punch-outs by Abney, and he's doing a great job of limiting the Harbor Hawks. And there's now 2 away.
Yeah, when this half inning started, the Harbor Hawks 2 runners on straight away, and if you're the Kettleers at that point, you had to worry a bit with nobody out and runners in scoring position. You had to worry that your deficit would get even further. But since then, they've added 2 strikeouts and just some very good pitching here from Abney.
In steps Kyle Ball. Had an RBI ground out back in the 3rd inning. And he takes a ball for the first pitch. 88 miles per hour on the fastball. Hackenberg gets his lead from second. Dominique Johnson at first, one of the standout players in the game today for Hyannis with that 2-run home run that's made much of a difference as the Harbor Hawks lead by 1. Long pause, the pitch by Abney. (2-0) the count. See if Ball can get a fastball and turn on something here. Ahead in the count, the pitch. Does get a fastball, but it can't find the zone. 3-0 here. Lincoln 3-0, first and second, 2 away. I don't imagine he has the green light.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I was surprised. Earlier in the game, we actually saw a swing on 3-0, and I have to say, it kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting a swing there. You don't really expect many 3-0 swings, especially not at this level.
And Ball's taken all the way there for a called strike to bring the count to 3-1. Long bottom of the 8th inning here. Started all the way back with a leadoff walk by Hackenberg, then a fielder's choice, which allowed Johnson to reach safely. Now 2 strikeouts, and now another walk, which loads the bases here for Hyannis. So a chance here to get an insurance run before we head to the 9th. And we'll see what Mitchell Hardigan can do with the bases juiced and 2 away.
The next batter, the left fielder from Florida Atlantic, number 20, Mitchell Hardigan.
Yeah, just what we've talked about so many times is just the Why did I just lose the word that I was looking for? I just lost my train of thought.
It
Oh, my
happens.
goodness. Yeah, it does.
Happens to me often. Ball goes off the glove of Rice. The runner's coming home. The throw to the plate is not in time as it's off the glove. A second runner's coming home. The glove flip not in time, and the Harbor Hawks get 2 runs on a passed ball. And Hyannis goes from leading by 1 to leading by 3 on 1 pitch.
And that's just something that you love to see if you're this Harbor Hawks team. And just exquisite base running, honestly. They saw that pass ball just far enough back to be able to score that first run, and then it ended up getting away from Abney, which enabled the second run to score.
They'll rule it as an error on the pitcher as it's a wild pitch. And now Hardigan stands in ahead 2-0 with just a runner on third. And a tough way for the Kettleers to allow 2 runs, but Hyannis will take it now with a 3-run cushion. The 2-0 to Hardigan. Outside corner. There's an outside call for a strike there, Lincoln. I think that's the first one we've seen so far today.
Yeah, that's that outside call that's been so elusive. Just that fine line, and Abney finally finding that line.
The pause from Abney, the 2-1. Outside again. Very similar to the last pitch, but this one's a ball, 3-1. He's been consistent. Has home plate umpire Cockrum.
Yeah, he has. He has. You can't be disappointed with any of the calls that he's made.
The 3-1. Can't catch up to the fastball, 3-2. Two away. Payoff pitch upcoming here for Alaska Abney, the pitch. Ground ball to short, takes a tough hop, fielded on the ground. The throw into first is in time. A close play there at first, but a terrific play there by the shortstop to end the inning. The Harbor Hawks get top of the 9th inning from Hyannis. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here as Trey Braithwaite back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. Ben Rice, the catcher for the Kettleers, digging in. Hyannis has now catapulted to a 7-4 lead, getting 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th on a wild pitch that got to the backstop, and then a flip from Rice to the pitcher covering as that one's grounded to third. Picked by Mason Greer, the throw on to first in time. Mason Greer flashing the leather at third for out number 1.
Yeah, Mason Greer has been all around this season a very nice player. He's had a couple of good plays over at third base, a couple big hits as well. And we saw just a little bit of what that leather can do. A beautiful grab there, and he was able to make the throw. He had plenty of time, as you saw him take a couple of hops before he throwing the ball, but just a fantastic play there from the third baseman.
That'll bring up the center fielder, John Rhodes. He's 2 for 4 today. Single, double on the line, and a strikeout as well as a pop-up. First pitch from Braithwaite on the outside corner, called strike one, 93 miles per hour for the Navy Academy attendee. 6'3" right-hander. The 0-1. Ground ball to short. Fielded there by Ball. The throw on to first is in time, and Hyannis Lincoln is 1 out away from their first win of the 2021 season.
Yeah, not just their first win of the 2021 season, but also their first win of the 2021 Patriot Cup. And the winner of this season series between the Kettleers and the Harbor Hawks will be getting that cup at the end of the season. And I think they mentioned that 2015, I think, was the last time we ended up beating the Kettleers. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I got that wrong, but I think it was 2015, the last time that the Harbor Hawks defeated the Kettleers for that Patriot Cup. And in that 2015 Patriot Cup win, as I just found out, the Harbor Hawks went on an 8-game sweep of the Kettleers, ended up on an 8-0 record against the Cotuit team for that Patriot Cup win.
Pretty impressive as Eric Brown grounds one to third. Greer charging in. The throw on the run, he can't get out of his glove. It's an infield single, so the ball game's going to be extended at least another batter. Tough play there for Greer to make. That will be ruled an infield single.
And you'd hate to see that. That could have been the last play, but he just had a little too much trouble getting that out of his glove.
In steps Brett Roberts. He came in for Ritter last inning. Grounded out to the pitcher after shattering his bat, so he's got a new piece of lumber for this at-bat. As Braithwaite hits 94 on the first pitch fastball for a ball. Behind in the count to Roberts.
Now I have to say, that bat that Roberts has, it's a simple color, simple looking bat, but it's a very pretty piece of wood. See that almost cream top of the barrel, and then the black handle, just a beautiful little piece of wood there.
The 1-1 fouled back to the backstop. 1-2, and the Harbor Hawks are 1 strike away from their first win of the 2021 season. Brett Roberts, the shortstop, looking to extend the game another batter. The pitch from Braithwaite. Swung on and missed, and the ball game is over. The Harbor Hawks have defeated the Cotuit Ketteleers 7-4 and pick up their first win of the 2021 season. Lincoln, an impressive win for Hyannis.
It was, definitely, and against the Kettleers, our biggest rival, and you just love to see that first win and everybody heading on out to midfield, down towards second base for those post-game handshakes. You just love to see it.
A terrific game for Hyannis in the 7-4 win, the first game of the Patriot Cup. They'll be back in action tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at home as Brewster comes to town. For our production crew, Matt and Harrison, for our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, and my partner, Lincoln Revill, I'm Austin DeCouta. Check out the post-game show on YouTube on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Thank you for watching, and have a great night.